Good evening, everyone. I hope all is well. I am Lynette Davis. I'm a transformational life coach, and I just wanted to share with you some things about healing. So, I just wanted to talk quickly about the foundations of healing. And although there are several steps in the healing process, one of the most important is one that I truly believe we must pay attention to on a daily basis, and that is our beliefs. So, I just wanted to come on tonight and talk about our belief system and just share some important things with you about belief systems and also share some personal experiences with you. And I hope that they help. So, our beliefs really drive almost everything. It drives our emotions. It impacts how we feel about the world we live in, how we feel about ourselves, our identity within our world. It impacts how we think about ourselves, how we think about others. And I really believe that your belief system is really the pinnacle of how we operate. But a lot of times, like I'll share, a lot of times our beliefs come from what I like to call belief implementation. So it's not necessarily something from our own core, but it's something that was either said to us or an experience that we gathered a belief from. And that belief, we took hold of that belief and it began to form within us. So, for example, my personal testimony is that I overcame childhood sexual abuse. At such a young age, I didn't have a very solid foundation of a belief system to a certain extent. And when I experienced trauma, I remember very vividly a woman who, after I had disclosed the trauma, one of the first things that someone ever said to me, which was an adult woman at the time, she said to me, "You were just entertainment." And that belief was basically given and absorbed. So it wasn't something that I thought of myself, it wasn't something that I formulated on my own, but it began to take form in what the experience meant to me and how others perceived me. So belief and implementation is very, very, very important to identify in your life. Number one, the beliefs that you're forming about yourself, the beliefs that you're forming about yourself through your experiences, and the beliefs that others are pouring into you that you've now accepted or they're starting to grow. So that was a very deep example of a belief implementation. And the same process works for what we're going through right now in the world. So it doesn't have to be an extremely deep concept, but really analyzing and dissecting a lot of your belief systems. So your beliefs really shape your responses, like I said, your feelings, not only your thoughts in that moment, but your continued thoughts. So that one thought is like a seed and it grows and it grows and grows and grows. So, for example, going back to my illustration, if I believed for the rest of my life that who I was and my body was just entertainment, can you imagine how detrimental, how traumatic, and how destructive that one single belief could have been if I had held true to that belief throughout my teenage years? Can you just imagine how destructive that would have been through my adult years, through every relationship? If I had held that belief to be true, who knows, where I would be. But I can guarantee you that I wouldn't be right here where I am today. So really, I encourage, and it's not easy to do on your own, obviously. That's why I believe in therapy. I believe in counseling. I believe in coaching, and that's why I do it. And that's why I'm very extremely passionate about it. For those who do know me personally, so it's not easy to do by yourself, but as you can see, it's just the tip of the iceberg to begin to really identify and dissect and unlearn some things and shape new beliefs. So, with beliefs, just talking surface level, one thing that's important and profound is that when you're changing those beliefs, one word that always sticks out to me is nevertheless. And it's also in my favorite quote. But the word nevertheless is really a shift word. It's a shift word, it's a transition word, it's a word that takes you from one state to another. And it's also a word that really ignites resiliency. And I want you to take away from this live that word nevertheless. So if you've ever experienced anything negative, traumatic, a bad day, a belief implementation that was negative and not true to your core, who you are, what you know to be true about yourself, what something negative towards your purpose and your true identity, use the word nevertheless. So for me, I experienced sexual trauma. Nevertheless, I can overcome. Nevertheless, I am worthy and valuable. Nevertheless, I do not have to live in shame. Nevertheless, there is a calling on my life. Nevertheless, I am not what happened to me. So those are just some examples of how powerful the word nevertheless is. So I encourage you, whether it was something that you were told, whether it is a current experience, or whether it was a past experience, I encourage you to use the word nevertheless and begin to reshape your belief systems. That's all I have. Thank you for joining.